not a good situation to be in. Last night, everything seemed pretty good when I pulled into the Olson Rest area. There wasn't a lot of snow. It had recently been plowed, and I'd stayed here before. Quite enjoyed my stay last time. So I pulled in, drove around, found myself a place to park, set up my tin tent, had dinner, watched a little video, and went to bed. Had a great night of sleep. Welcome to the HogTide Rising channel, an insight into nomadic van life, seen through the eyes of a long-time touring motorcyclist. Woke up this morning, about 5, made my bed, made my breakfast, had a great breakfast, did my bed exercises, my standard morning routine, even squeezed in a Spanish lesson. And then packed up the tin tent and got ready to pull out. Well, there was a fair bit of snow on the ground. It had snowed heavily last night. But I was able to get out of my parking spot and get motivated and get moving along the driveway. However, when I got to the highway, I had a choice of either going to my left or going to my right, and bad decision. I tried to the left. That didn't work. Got stuck. Tried to back up. Got stuck. Jiggling around, and eventually got myself really well stuck. This is the view of Highway 3 from the front windshield of my van. This is the view of the entrance into the Olson Rest area from the driver's side window of my van. And this is the gate that would ordinarily be closing access to the Olson Rest area, but which was open last night and which I seem to be parked against. This is not a good situation. Got myself really well stuck as I showed you. Rear end in a dip and up against a gate which evidently should have been closed, but which wasn't. So I called AMA and put in a service request. The first company they contacted was in Sparwood. They came out, took a look, told me they didn't have anything that could get me out, so it was referred to a tow company in Cranbrook, who originally told me they would need flaggers. I pointed out to them that I wasn't on the highway or in the ditch off the highway. I was in a parking lot, in a driveway in a parking lot. They asked me to send pictures, which I did. They asked me to send them a pin for the exact location, which I did. And then I waited quite a while until finally I decided to call AMA again. And while I was on the call to AMA, I got a text from the tow company in Cranbrook telling me they were on their way. And that's what we're waiting for now. Just waiting for the tow truck company. But it's been kind of interesting sitting here parked. So far, I've had 3, maybe 4 people pull off, drive over, ask me if I was okay, make sure that I was, ask me if I needed water or anything like that. It's always nice to know that even on a snowy day like this on Highway 3 in southern BC, people are willing to stop their journey, pull in and check out to make sure that a motorist is okay. That is really good to hear. So now, wait for the tow truck and hope they can get us out. Boy, that doesn't look good, does it? This is the rear driver's side wheel, not in a good place. Looking further back, there's a good reason why they're not going to be able to pull me backwards, because there's a tree in the way. Well, let's wait for the tow truck. I'll tell you one thing for sure. As soon as I get this van out of the snow and onto the highway, I'm going to be heading to a Canadian Tire to get myself a set of tire chain. Nothing at all makes you better at what you're doing than to do it wrong and end up with a bad situation. So I got to make sure this doesn't happen to me again. The tow truck, and it's a big sucker, has arrived. So hopefully this is all it's going to take to get me out of here. Well, what do you figure?
Might have to pull you forward.
The operator's assessing the situation. Once he gets it all straightened out, he decides what to do. So he's just put down the hydraulic lifts to get the rear end of the tow truck off the ground and get the tow truck anchored. Well, he's got it hooked up. He's told me to leave it in neutral, wheel turn to the right. Starting to winch the cable in. Cable's tight. Here we go. Straighten the wheel out. That appears to be it. My first stop, after getting pulled out of my predicament at the Olson rest area by the tow truck, was to drive to Fernie and pull into the nearest Canadian Tire. This was quite the experience, and not one I want to repeat. I have driven in the mountains for a lot, and I've never needed tire change before. I've got mud and snow tires on the van now, and they've always been sufficient, and they were fine for driving on the highway. However, in all that snow in that parking lot, all of which fell last night, if I had even thought that it might be risky, and if I had had tire chains, I would have put them on and probably not had that predicament. If I hadn't put the 3-inch lift kit, I never would have got out. I just would not have had the clearance to get through that snow. As it was very difficult getting back onto the highway. Took an approach onto the highway, but I had to stop because there was traffic. I drove around again, and this time when I went then up the slight incline approach to exit onto the highway heading west, there was no traffic coming, and I was able to give it and get onto the highway. It was tense, and it's not something I want to repeat. Here I am at Canadian Tire, looking to get tire chains, and hopefully they have the right ones for my van. It is a wicked day. A very wicked day. Getting across this parking lot with a prosthetic is going to be interesting. Well, it looks like they have my size of tire chain in stock. It's about $140 with tax. So I'll be picking that set up. Well, there they are, my new Navigator tire chains, one set, 3.7 millimeter square link patterns. So it looks like a pretty sturdy, heavy duty tire chain setup. I took a look at the instructions. Looks pretty easy to put on from either driving onto them or else putting them on when you're parked. And one more addition to my off-road arsenal is my Trek Safe automotive winter shovel. So it's a nice collapsible, lightweight aluminum shovel that'll be easy to pack in the van. I could have used it this morning to clear away a little bit of that snow. There we go, tire chains and a lightweight aluminum shovel, the newest additions to my off-road arsenal, and they will work well with my 3-inch Journeys off-road lift kit. Well, HogTide Risers, my business at Canadian Tire is finished. They had what I needed. Van lifers, if you are on the road in Canada and you need something automotive, let me recommend Canadian Tire to you. They have everything you could possibly need, and as well as automotive goods, they also have camping and outdoor. It's a good resource, it's a good store. I'm going to continue on my way, but if I do get stuck, if I have problems, well, I won't have to call a tow truck because I have tire chains. Yes, I have tire chains. Well, it's the day after my epic adventure getting out of the snow at the Olson rest area. I've gone a little bit further down the road. I'm on the other side of Fernie now, closer to Elko, in the Rock Creek rest area. So in this particular rest area, you can see that there is snow on the ground. There's not a lot, and the snow that's here is quite crusty. So this was a very easy parking lot to get around in and to park for the night. And I had a great night here. Good evening. I prepared my evening meal, watched a little video, tried to listen to a hockey game, and then a good night of sleep before I got up, had breakfast, did my morning exercises, and got a good 3 hours of video editing complete. Now it's time to move on, at least to Cranbrook, and maybe just a little bit further. Anyway, we'll know where I'm going when I get there.